we would be honored to have Mohammad Mudassir with us, and you would be very happy to know that he has a lot of knowledge in this domain. He's currently working as a software engineer at Algorand Foundation and ex-blockchain researcher at IIT Bombay. So if you have any kind of questions regarding Web3, blockchain, its future scope, how you can get started, or any thing that you want to clear, you can just ask from him. And with this, we can start the session. The stage is all yours, Mohammed.
Thank you so much. I'll share my screen. Okay, is it visible?
Yes, it's completely visible.
Perfect. Okay, so hey everyone, I'm Muhammad Mudassir, as Manik introduced already. Thank you so much, Manik, for inviting and doing this session with all your community. So my work is as a support engineer at Algorand Foundation. If you don't know about Algorand Foundation, it's a layer on blockchain, just like Ethereum, Solana, Aptos. You may heard about it, Bitcoin. And I'm also executive fellow at the Digital Economist. So Digital Economist is a place where there's different industry leaders, thought people, professors from MIT, Stanford, um, Oxford, and a lot of different type of universities. So my work is to do research on different blockchain executions, protocols, consensus. So I'm a bit of development plus research plus relationship. So it's kind of my role. Now let's start with the beginning of internet. So because we are talking about blockchain, so first we should understand where it, from where it started and what exactly the root cause is of blockchain and why blockchain. So for all these information, we need to understand how the blockchain got emerged and from where it started. So let's talk about the internet. So during the period of 1960, there was a project called ARPANET. It started by the US Department of Defense to interact with their defense organization internally so that they can talk to their military and all this stuff. So from there, the internet got explored and it's just invented. And after that, a lot of experiments happened and a lot of upgradation happened, and then we get to know about www, which is World Wide Web, right? So during 1991, there was a first websites came into live on the internet where you can go, you can read something. So that was the time when the first website was live, and www was nothing but it was just a form of, you can say, a content which is online. Online means it is available to everyone. So that was very huge for the technology and for the community to, you can get knowledge from internet and it's available for everyone, because before that there was nothing like that. It was just like books and newspapers and all these things. So that was the time when Tim Berners-Lee invented this World Wide Web. So now I think I'm going too fast because these are basic things. So if you want me to repeat something, you can just put in the chat box. So now let's talk about the evolution of internet. So evolution happened, first it was Web 1, then Web 2, and then Web 3, which is currently, it's not completely, we're not completely into Web 3, but it's a process, right? So it's, you can say a complete Web 3 will be in the future. So do you know what exactly Web 1 is? If you want to share, you can write in the chat box. You can unmute yourself also. What exactly Web 1 is? 1.0 Web 1. Anyone? You can meanwhile write in the chat box. Static apps, exactly. So Web 1 is pretty static. It was just read content, right? You don't have opportunity. Yes, you can see, but you can read also, right? So you have the ability to, grasp the knowledge, but you don't have ability to put something, right? So there are a lot of example. Now Wikipedia is more matured and you can share your thoughts, but before that it was just a static page where you can just learn, right? So Web 1 is it was pretty static, and it was, you can say, early internet, right? The internet start with Web 1. So there are a lot of things happened between Web 1. I mean, that time 2000, I think 8 2004, it was that time when the Web 1 goes live, and everyone was like, they wanted their domains, mdmudassir.com, something like that. So that was the craze of Web 1 that time. So the advantages were, it was easy to create and maintain static website because there's no load, there's nothing dynamic rendering or nothing server side rendering, right? So it was static, so it's easy to maintain and it doesn't cost a lot of money. And it was also quick and navigate because you don't need to load animation or content or something. So it was very easy. Disadvantages were, since it's not interactive, it was just, there's some readings, there's some text, so it was not that interactive. So you get bored after reading some lines or some pages. So that's the advantage. Disadvantage. The other disadvantage was basically limited to plain text, image and links. There's nothing like buttons or where you can go from one place to another or something like that. So these are few disadvantages of Web 1. Now let's talk about Web 2. What exactly Web 2 is? Do you know? You can write in the chat box. So as this slide says, it's an interactive web. The websites, the apps we are using currently, which is exactly dynamic websites. It's not limited to websites, it's apps also. So Web 2 is your dynamic internet, which is, you can say, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all these social media apps which you are currently using as Web 2, where you have ability to put your content onto the internet, right? You have your Instagram account, you post your picture, you post some article or something. So you have the ability to create your own content. But in the Web 1, there was nothing like this. So Web 2 introduced interactive and user-centric application like social media, e-commerce. E-commerce, of course, Amazon, Flipkart. These are, you can be a seller, you can sell something, you can buy, you can purchase, all these things, right? So these sites are designed to be more engaging so that you can engage, you can interact, you spend your time on these websites. So that was the main purpose of Web 2, so that you can get more interaction. And since every technology has its advantage plus disadvantage, so Web 2 also has its advantages and disadvantages. So advantages of Web 2 is basically it's interactive, because Instagram, we just scroll reels or YouTube shorts. So it's engaging, right? You get a lot of content, a lot of thesis, theory, and all these different type of things, whatever you like to see. And the personalized content and recommendations. So these days, the AI and everything, these are what they are doing is they are presenting the content whatever you like, right? So if you are watching car videos or bike videos, so you will get the recommendation of different type of cars or bikes or something. So these are the few advantages of Web 2. The disadvantages. So disadvantages are basically centralized control. So there's a one famous example is a few years back, Donald Trump is now president of US. His account got suspended or removed from the Twitter. So that was very huge. The ex-president got removed, his content and everything got removed from the internet, or specifically Twitter. So you can imagine we are nothing, right? So we are just a user. Our data, there's no importance to it. It can be deleted, it can be removed. Maybe sometimes you see a lot of posts that someone's YouTube channel got deleted or something happened. So these are few problems with Web 2, that you don't have ownership. these big companies, Facebook, Meta, Twitter, X, they hold all your data. They have their databases, and all your data which you put on these social medias. Uh, oh, okay. Yeah, so these are few problems with Web 2, right? I mean, we got suspended, restricted, or I mean, who knows, whatever. So these databases are owned by these big companies, and you don't have anything ownership. You just have to send mail or do a lot of things. But it's your data, so you should have ownership, right? But it's not in Web 2. So this is basically disadvantage of Web 2. And privacy security concerns. Sometimes your account got hacked, someone got I mean, Facebook, it happened a lot of time that someone else get access to your account. So these are few disadvantages of Web 2. Now let's talk about Web 3. Anyone knows what exactly Web 3 is, and I mean, why, it's a decentralized internet, right? It's a decentralized. So why? Because there's no cent ownership in the Web 2. It's all centralized. All the data are on their databases, the owner of these big companies. So that's why we need some other technology or next level of internet where we have ownership of our own data, which is Web 3. So Web 3 is, you can say, a decentralized web. So it's distributed ledger, of course, yeah. So Web3 is latest phase of the internet, and which is focused on decentralized technology, which empowers users with increased security, censorship resistance, user control, open data. And these sites are designed to be more transparent. So when I'll talk about blockchain, then I'll talk about all these things: transparency, P2P interaction. So, in a broader term, the Web3 is an internet where you have ownership of your own data, and you have more security, more privacy, and decentralization. Uh, do you know what exactly decentralization is? I mean, centralization, okay, there's a central database and they have all the data. But what exactly decentralization means? You can unmute if you want to share. Not controlled by some system. Decentralized means keeping information in blockwise. Uh, it's not completely true, but yeah, it's fine. Okay, now let's move on to, as I said, every technology has its advantages plus disadvantages. So Web3 also has its both sides. So advantage is basically it's a decentralized control. There's no central authority which holds your data, which controls your data. Ownership of data, you will be the owner. You can create content, you can remove that. The third party, they will not have control to your data. Increased security and privacy, as I said. Web3 blockchain decentralization, this gives you security plus privacy mechanism. Censorship resistant and it's transparent, and it also empowers users with control over their data and identity. Your identity, if you create your Web3 identity, on-chain identity, you will have that identity. So since now our identity is on, let's say, Aadhaar card is our identity, right? And Aadhaar card details are stored on a central database in some, let's say, DigiLocker, right? So it can get hacked. It's not possible. I mean, it can be possible, but it's like highly secured. But it's central authority. There's central authority who holds all these data. And disadvantages. So now let's discuss about disadvantages. So sometimes I call it opportunities, because if it has disadvantages, we can work on these disadvantages to make it more secure or make it better. Disadvantages or opportunities are basically it requires new infrastructure and technologies, since it's a new internet. So it requires new technology, new computing power, new programming languages, new APIs, SDKs, all these different type of things. So this is basically, that's why it's not going to masses, because everyone is consuming or working on Web2 system. So Web3 is quite new, so that's why it's not reaching to the mass. And you can say since it's more secure, more private, but it's a bit complicated to use. That's what second point says. Maybe less user friendly and accessible to non-technical users. So if you talk about wallets, decentralized wallets, you can get overwhelmed by all these phrase keys, private keys. So this can be more difficult to use for the non-tech users. So these are few challenges. Now let's quickly compare the centralized system and decentralized system. So centralized system is basically controlled by central authority. It's data vulnerability. Your data can be affected or can get removed or something. Censorship risk, privacy violation, these can happen. So a few example is Meta, LinkedIn, Twitter, all these different type of companies. Decentralized. So it's basically decentralized means your data will not held or will not be stored on some central authority, but in different type of databases. So you will have the control. And distributed storage. The data will be stored on multiple storages, not in single storage. Censorship resistance here and privacy protection due to blockchain. Okay, now what exactly blockchain is? So I have very simple definition of blockchain. You can define blockchain in just 4 words. What are these 4 words? Distributed, immutable, transparent, ledger. Can you say with me? Distributed, immutable, transparent, ledger. This is pretty simple, right? So blockchain is distributed, immutable, transparent, ledger. Now let's explain and let's talk about all these different terms, what exactly these terms are. So first is distributed. We talked a lot about distributed system, but what exactly distributed system is? So centralized system, which is non-distributed. That means there's a server which have all your data, right? That server uh, hold all your data. But distributed means your data is distributed into multiple computers. There's not one server or one storage, but there will be multiple servers which has your data. It's distributed. As the word itself says, right? Distributed means your data is distributed. Second is transparent. So blockchain gives us ability where we can have a transparency. If you do any transactions, if you store something, if you are, let's say, NGO and your money flows. So if you are working or your NGO is on blockchain system, it's transparent. So blockchain is basically transparent. I can also show you how exactly the transparency means. I mean, how exactly it works. And the next point is distributed, immutable, transparent ledger. Okay. Second was immutable. So this is very important point, immutability. Do you know what exactly immutability is? Okay. So immutability is basically it's immune, cannot change. Exactly. Uh, it's also in blockchain. It's also have one more additional meaning. So yes, of course, it cannot change, but in addition to that, you cannot delete it. So this is blockchain. Let's say you have put something, you have stored on blockchain, it's immutable. You cannot change it and you cannot remove it. If you have stored something on a blockchain, it will be there forever. It will be on that particular database forever. So that's the immutability aspect of blockchain. Next is ledger. So ledger is nothing but ledger is, let's say, a register where you stored all your. So when you go to Kirana shop, right? So that person has a ledger. It's a khata book, right? When where he basically writes कि किसने कितने रुपए में खाना लिया या जो भी राशन लिया और how much उसका बाकी है and all this stuff, right? It's just a ledger. So blockchain is also a ledger which stores all your track. What are you doing? What are you transferring? What are you uploading? What are you sharing? All these different type of things. The blockchain writes on its ledger. So this is basically a definition of blockchain: distributed, immutable, transparent ledger, right? There's a one non-technical definition, which is simply a database which is spread over multiple computers and secured by a network. So let's say this is a diagram I've showed over here. So let's say these are different type of computers, and they are connected to each other. So let's say you have shared a data, or you put some data, so that particular data will be distributed to every computer, so that if someone, let's say some hacker or someone wants to delete this, you can get your data from this computer, right? You can get your data from this computer. So it's like spread over multiple different type of computers. So this is basically, you can say, a distributed system. And also, it's DLT. DLT is basically distributed ledger technology. It's very old technology, but when the blockchain came into the picture, so they have used these different type of technologies and created a new technology, which is blockchain. Do you know what is the first blockchain and who created it? Meanwhile, I explain this. Uh, okay, Nets, it's like a decentralized distributed database recording all transaction in chronological order. As I said, it's a ledger, right? So it's just a record all your transactions. Transactions are nothing but your activity, what exactly you are doing, and it stores data securely and immutable in a cryptographically sealed block. So this whole blockchain system is based on cryptography. It's secured by cryptographically proven systems, cryptographic theorems, and all these different things. Now, there's a term. Oh, what is that? Consensus. Anyone knows what is consensus? So it says consensus based peer-to-peer network. Peer-to-peer is basically P2P, which is, let's say this is peer one, this is peer two. It's like different type of computer connected to each other. So you can interact. So this computer can talk to this computer. So this is peer-to-peer interaction, right? Direct. There is no intermediary, right? So let's say this is a person one, let's say this is a person two. You can transfer your amount without any intervention, so you don't need to go through the bank or somewhere else. You can just send. So that's what we call it, peer to peer. It just person to person. Any replies on consensus? Okay. Okay. Now let's talk about benefits of blockchain. So benefits are a lot of benefits, right? It's a security, immutability aspect, transparency and trust, decentralization, reduce cost. Why reduce cost? Because let's say if you want to transfer $1,000 to your friend who lives in, let's say, America, US, or Canada, so you have to go to the bank, and it will take some time, 3 4 days, and it also cost you some. You have to do bank, I mean, service charges, all these different type of charges, right? So which is basically solved by blockchain. If you have a decentralized wallet, you can send it, and it will be sent within a seconds. So this is, and so cost is basically that banking cost, right? When you go to the bank, they will charge, let's say, 1000 रुपए में 10 रुपए, right? So it's like 10% something. Sorry, 100%. So 10 is 10%, right? So you have to give some type of payments to the bank, but blockchain it's like very minimum. It's sometimes it's just 10 paisa. Different blockchain have different costs, so we will discuss about it later. Efficiency, efficiency and speed is basically, it's very fast. When you go to the bank, it will take 2 3 days or sometime a week, but if you transfer through a blockchain system, it's just very fast. Traceability, since it's on the blockchain, you can trace it, right? It's transparent, it's traceable. uh, Global accessibility, if your friend lives in US or anywhere in the world, you can just, you need his wallet or her wallet, and you can transfer it. Innovative use cases, since there's a lot of use cases which are building on blockchain: traceability solution, carbon credit, supply chain, and all these different type of things. Data privacy, your data really private. So there's a misconception here. we talk about blockchain and we say it's transparent, but how are data will be private since it's transparent? So there's nothing like that. If you upload your Aadhaar card on any private information, it got leaked or it's transparent. It's not like that. You will basically create a hash of that particular thing, and then you put the hash to the blockchain. And what is hashing? We'll discuss about it later. Resilience and security, smart contracts reduce fraud. So do you know what exactly smart contracts are? So when you work on some technology, something is required, some new programming language or something is required to work on it. So here in blockchain, we need smart contracts. Smart contracts are nothing but just programs, your let's say Python programs, JavaScript programs, but it's on blockchain. So let's say if you created a if-else case, a program, a Python code, where if this person gives me 10 rupees, you give me this product. So this is simple Python code, if else, right? So if I put this code into the blockchain, it will get immutable. So they have to do it, right? You cannot change it. So this is smart contract. A smart contract is a program which lives on the blockchain, and if it's deployed on the blockchain, you cannot change it. You have to follow that. So it's basically your codes, your Python or your any code. Now there are different type of blockchains also. So there are public blockchain, private blockchain, consortium, permission blockchain. Public blockchain is basically Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Aptos, Algorand, Optimism, and different type of. There are 100 different type of blockchains. Public is basically it's public. All the transaction, all the things it's in public. You can go to the Explorer, you can check it, you can track it, and you can do anything. Private, as it the word itself says, that it's private, it's limited to a particular organization or particular thing. For example, hyperledger is a private blockchain. It is used within an organization. You I mean, let's say I cannot access that if I don't have any authority or something. Consortium is basically which operates through a mutual consensus. Let's say two different parties, they want to work with each other only, they don't want to share it with the third person, so they will create a different consensus and it will be a consortium. It's a mutual. Permission is basically you need permission, you have to identify yourself. Since blockchain is it's complete private, you don't need to share something, you don't need to, I mean, public blockchain, you don't need to upload your Aadhaar card or something, you can transfer money, you can do anything. But permission blockchain are required to prove your identity. I mean, you need to prove your identity, only then you will be able to use that permission blockchain. So these are few different type of blockchains. Now let's talk about what are these different type of blockchain. So basically we work on public blockchain since it's very accessible, it's easy to learn, it's easy to start. So when we start learning blockchain, we start with public blockchain. So there are these few different type of blockchain. The first blockchain is Bitcoin, which comes with a consensus. Anyone, did anyone reply to that consensus? You can think about it, what exactly this thing is. So do you know who created this Bitcoin and why?
I know who created it, but I don't know why that person or association created it.
Okay, who created it?
Satoshi Nakamoto, like people don't know whether he's an individual or a group of people because nobody don't know.
Exactly. Thank you, Manik. So yeah, Satoshi Nakamoto, he is some anonymous person, or it can be a group of hackers or something. He created Bitcoin, but why? So Bitcoin is created during the financial crisis of 2008, when US market got crashed, all the banks, all the financial institution, it got crashed, right? The market was during 2008. So that time when you, let's say you had some money on banks, you were not able to get that money because the banks were crashed, they had no money. So I mean, you have your money but you're not able to access that, you don't get your money. So that's why these guys, they thought ki, I mean, it's my money but I'm not getting it, so I have to create something where I can directly interact with the individual. Let's say I have to send something to Manik or someone else. So why do I need a bank? Because it's my money, I'm just giving this money to someone else. So that time he created this Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is basically a, you can say, a revolution where you can send money to anyone without any intermediary. You don't need to go to the bank. If you have Bitcoin, you can just send to someone else, right? So that's the cause was 2008 financial crisis. That time all the banks were collapsed, all the financial institutions were collapsed. So if you had any money in all these banks, you didn't get it. So that's why he created this Bitcoin, so that you can interact peer to peer, person to person. You don't need any third party because it's your money, right? So it's giving you more democracy, more authority, more ownership of your own money. And after that, during 2014, American Canadian engineer, he introduced Ethereum. Ethereum is basically founded by Vitalik Buterin in 2014. So what exactly Ethereum is? Basically, Bitcoin is just for finance, just for payments. You can send, you can transfer, you can do whatever, right? So Ethereum, basically, Vitalik, he was an engineer, and he was working on Bitcoin. So he thought, what if we run programs on blockchain? So then he created Ethereum, where Ethereum has the ability where you can store programs, your Python code, your JavaScript code to the blockchain. So that if I created a program, the example I just did, I explained, if else case, you can put on the blockchain and it will be there. So 2014 he created Ethereum. That was also a revolution because now you can create programs, you can create decentralized applications, you can create smart contracts, you can do a lot of different type of things. You have now ability to create whatever you want. Anything which is in Web 2, you can create on Web 3 because now you can store programs on the blockchain. And after that, Algorand. So what exactly Algorand is? During 2017, there's a professor at MIT. His name is Silvio Micali. He's like Turing Award winner. Turing Award, if you know about it, it's like Nobel Prize in computer science. So he thought, what if we make it more private, more secured? Then he created Algorand. And Solana is also created during 2019, and Litecoin and different type of Aptos, Sui. I mean, every day you can say there are different type of blockchains which are emerged and which are bringing new technology. Now let's talk about all these different type of blockchain. But before that, the consensus. I was talking about consensus. So do you know, in Web 2 there's a system where you have to work into that system. So in Web 2 there's a manager, there are a team lead, there's a project lead, all these different type of tree hierarchy. So you have to follow all these things. But in blockchain it's decentralized, so there's no authority, right, who controls all this system. So how will it work? So that's why we need some consensus algorithm. Consensus algorithm is nothing but it just set of rules that you have to follow these rules if you want to be part of the network. So what consensus protocol do is it basically allow participants who may not fully trust each other to collectively agree on a state of blockchain without relying on central authority, right? So it's a set of rules. You have to follow all these rules. Whether you trust each other or not, you just have to follow these rules so that you can be on a same path, you can be on a same state. Consensus protocol ensure that all nodes agree on a order of transaction, so each transaction can be validated and added to the blockchain only once. This line is basically a bit complicated, not complicated if you want to understand, it's very clear. So blockchain is the word, the blockchain comes from chain of blocks. There are different multiple blocks which are connected to each other, so it's a chain of blocks. So What if two blocks join to the end block? So let's say this is end block, right? So there can be two different blocks can be joined, right? So but this could not happen because its single largest chain should work. So that what consensus protocol ensures that all the blocks are adjacent to each other and there's no forking. Forking means one block attached to two different blocks. So consensus protocol makes sure all these things, and consensus protocol also ensure that the network continues to operate even if some nodes are offline, faulty, or malicious. Uh, Consistency. Consensus protocol also ensures that all nodes have same view of blockchain. So I shared that picture, right? This one. So all node have all your data, right? So it should not happen that this node have different data, other node have different data. So consensus protocol makes sure all these different type of things. It also helps prevent attacks. It solve competing chain problem, responsible for block generation. It also prevent double spending. I mean, we don't have enough time to explain all these things, but just overview that consensus mechanism or consensus protocol basically ensures all these different type of things, how the blockchain will work. Proof of work. So proof of work is the first consensus protocol which is introduced by Satoshi Nakamoto, the founder of Bitcoin. He says if you want to be part of Bitcoin network, you have to follow the proof of work consensus, the rules which the proof of work says. It's basically consensus algorithm where miners compete to solve a difficult mathematical problem based on hashing algorithm. So there's nothing like mathematical problem, but there's a set of hash. You if you want to put a new block to the blockchain, you have to basically match that hash. That is basically you can say a mathematical problem. You have to find that hash, and miners will receive some rewards if they have solved that particular hash and they find that particular hash. Miners are basically that person or that computer who runs that network, Bitcoin network, right? So we call it miners. Miners have to find the valid nonce. Nonce is a random value, so you have to find some random value. You have to run your computer to get that hash so that you can attach a block to the blockchain. um, Proof of work also it needs high energy consumption. I mean, you need powerful computer in order to get that hash. So you have to run whole node and you have to find that hash, so you need a powerful computer. So it requires very high energy. So there's a fact that the amount of energy required to mine a Bitcoin network is equal to the whole. I mean, I'm talking about 1 year, the whole year. If you run a Bitcoin node, the whole Bitcoin chain is equal to the electricity consumed by some countries like Switzerland. Right, the whole country uses electricity is equal to the Bitcoin uses in its mining. So it's huge energy required, right? This is proof of stake. Proof of stake basically uh, introduced by Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin. He says there's a lot of energy and a lot of things happen on Bitcoin, but I am giving a new consensus where you don't need to mine or you don't need to find that hash, but there will be a locking system. If you want to be part of Ethereum, you have to stake something. The stake is basically lock. You have to lock your Ethereum. So minimum Ethereum is 32 Ethereum. 32 Ethereum you have to lock if you want to be a validator. Validator is basically if you want to be that person who confirms the block which will be added to the blockchain. So you have to lock your amount. If you do anything bad, if you're malicious, if you're a hacker, your money which you have staked or which you have locked will be gone. So this is a basic concept of proof of stake consensus. Now, pure proof of stake. So, I mean, Vitalik Buterin also said that there's a trilemma in blockchain that you cannot get decentralization, security, and scalability. You cannot get all these three things at once, right? So he said this is a blockchain trilemma. You cannot get all these three things. But pure proof of stake, which is introduced by Silvio Micali, MIT professor, he said you can. I mean, He said, yeah, we can solve this blockchain trilemma. We can get security, decentralization, and scalability. So he said it's using pure proof of stake. So pure proof of stake basically it runs on VRF. VRF, I mean, maybe you heard about it. VRF is verifiable random function. It runs on some random functions, and here you don't need to stake 32 Ethereum. If you have one, it's basically on algorand. So if you have one algo, if you have any algo, so you can stake it. So there's no restrictions to it. So and it is based on VRF, so it's more secure. So during 2018, Sylvia and colleague come up with this proposal, this new consensus, pure proof of stake. That what Algorand uses now. And now let's talk about decentralized wallets. Decentralized wallets are basically wallets which is decentralized, like your Paytm, PhonePe, or these things. These wallets you can use it without any central authority. If you have, let's say, MetaMask or Trust Wallet or any other wallet, you can just use it without need of government or anyone. Smart contract, I've already explained it. Smart contracts are basically programs which runs on blockchain and it automatically execute code over a decentralized platform. So smart contracts can be written in EVM or AVM. EVM is basically Ethereum virtual machine. If you're working on Ethereum, you have to write on Solidity. Solidity is a programming language used to write contracts on Ethereum. If you're working on Algorand, AVM, AVM is Algorand virtual machine. If you know about Python, you can directly write smart contracts in Python. But you have to use Algorand because Ethereum is not compatible to run Python codes. And smart contracts are stored uniquely, and each smart contract has its own public address. So when you create a smart contract, and maybe sometime else, if we got another session, I'll show you how exactly how to write a smart contracts. It's pretty simple. We as a user can interact with smart contracts by submitting a transaction with some code. So it's like you want to share something, you want to store something on blockchain, you have to write a transaction, you have to sign it, then you can just store it. Once they are deployed, it's impossible to modify. So it's a blockchain property, right? It's immutable. So program is also immutable. If you have deployed, it's impossible to modify the code. In simple terms, they are backend of your dApp. This is your backend. Blockchain smart contract is your backend, and you have your front end. Decentralized application. So decentralized application is basically an application which runs on blockchain or peer-to-peer network. So you can create a decentralized Instagram, but all the photos, all the things, it will be stored on blockchain. So it's a decentralized application which is decentralized. What are decentralized application? As I already mentioned, that it's basically application which runs on the blockchain on a peer-to-peer network, and it's like you are storing all your information to the blockchain so that no one can remove it, no one can delete it. So it's DApps. Now, quickly, let's talk about DAOs. DAOs are decentralized autonomous organization. So we already had this kind of situation, some organization where you go, where you be a part of that community, but it's decentralized now. Decentralized DAOs are basically organization which is built to create something where you have to follow their rules. Let's say I've created a community. Let's say Galintech. This is a DAO. So you comes to that DAO. You have to take some tokens. If you have that token, you will be the accessibility or all these different type of events, all these plannings or anything. So this is basically a DAO. It's basically a community, a group where you have to be part of. If you want to be part of it, you have to get some tokens or some representation, right? So this is a DAO, and DAO is basically on chain. It's on blockchain, so everything will be on a smart contract. So if you win something, if you, let's say, created some poster, then you will automatically get some tokens or some rewards. It's all on blockchain. DAO use cases, there are a lot of use cases: proposal execution, funding, crowdfunding, investing, metaverse, climate change, etc. That's it from my side. And if you want to connect with me, this is my LinkedIn. And now we have 10 minutes exactly. And if you have any questions, anything you want me to repeat, or anything else, any question, feel free to raise your hand or ask in the chat box. I was very fast, I know, because I didn't. Yes, Manik.
Sure, that's a wonderful session, Mudassir, and you have covered a lot of things. But can you share some resources that one most likely the beginners can follow if they wanted to get started in this field? The best resources that can really help them if they want to learn more about blockchain or any specialized fields if they want to get into. That would be great.
So the best resource, I mean, it's a YouTube, and particularly in YouTube, there's a channel called Code Eater, CODEEATER. I mean, I also learned from that channel. So it has all the different type of videos on blockchain, Bitcoin, Ethereum, smart contracts, Solidity, Algorand, Python, and all different type of blockchain. So you can go to Code Eater, you can search it, and I mean the tutor, it's like I think I forgot his name, it's Shitej or something. I mean, he teaches very good, it's very amazing, so you can learn from that. And other than that, if you want to build on blockchains, if you, let's say if you want to build on Ethereum, so you have to go to Ethereum Foundation website, you can find the developer resources and everything to that particular project. So blockchain is very diverse, right? Every project has its own programming, its own SDK APIs. So that's particular to the project. If you want to build on Algorand, Aptos, Sui, or anyone else, Solana, you have to go to their website. But if you want to learn, let's say you're started, you're just starting, so go to YouTube, find different resources. Code Eater. There's a very famous book which is called how to start with blockchain or something. I think I have a GitHub. I forgot. And meanwhile, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yes, I got the book. It's called Mastering Bitcoin, and it is on GitHub also. I think it's a version.
Everyone from my side, as far as I have explored this, you can also, I've seen Crypto Zombies, Ryzen and HackQuest. They have some resources, some certification courses.
Crypto Zombie is amazing. I mean, I've started from Crypto Zombies, and there's a
Amazing.
Learn Web3 DAO and a lot of different types. If I share my screen, there's a Learn Web3 DAO, Ethereum.org, Speedrun Ethereum. So I mean, you first have to understand blockchain. Crypto Zombies, you can say, next level. It's programming based. You have, if you want to learn Solidity, Crypto Zombies for Solidity. But before Solidity, before programming, you have to understand how exactly blockchain works. Because I mean, I didn't explain about longest chain rule. Can we write a smart contract in JavaScript? No, sorry. But Solidity is similar to JavaScript. So you have to learn different programming language in order to write a smart contract. But if you know Python, you can write on Python and deploy it on Algorand. We pay tax of some small amount while using apps like Paytm, PhonePe. So do we have to any tax doing transactions in Web3? So it's not tax. So as I said, there's a small amount of fees you have to give. So why fees? It's you can say a blockchain fees, since there are miners, there are validators who are validating your block. So they take a small amount of fees, which is very less. So in Algorand, there's a $0.003. In Ethereum, it's a bit costly because the network is very big and they're improving. In Ethereum, it's like $5, $10, sometimes $50. But yes, Trust wallets. Of course, you can use Trust wallet, MetaMask. Blockchain is also related to security, and cybersecurity is also related to security. What is the difference in both domains? I want to start one of them. Which should I start? I mean, both have different type of, you could say, constitution. It's like blockchain is a tech. It's not like something where you can apply to everywhere. So cybersecurity is in different field. It's related to, let's say, your Web2 application where you are securing it. But blockchain is based on, you can say, ownership more, transparency, these type of things, right? And it's secure using that cryptographically secured algorithms. I mean, you should not choose what should I do. You should explore blockchain and cybersecurity both, so that when you read about it, when you get more information, then you will understand, okay, what should be my domain. So let me quickly tell me about myself, how I started. I'm from Galgotia's College of Engineering Technology, Greater Noida. I was studying there, but I was not very interested in all college and everything. So I started from cryptocurrencies. I heard about some Dogecoin, Shiba, Bitcoin, and all these things. Then I started working on blockchain as projects. I went to a lot of hackathons and I built something. So first step is to read blockchain, what exactly blockchain is, how it works, what are different type of blockchain, how to build on it, and then go to hackathons. There are a lot of hackathons happening around the world, around India, online and offline. So go to hackathons, build projects, so that there you will understand how to write contract, how to build smart contract, how to build a decentralized application. So this is how I started, and then I got opportunity work at IIT Bombay. So I worked, I spent around 1 year at IIT Bombay Computer Science Department. There's a lab called Trust Lab. It's basically focus on their focus is on cybersecurity, hardware security, blockchain, and different type of things. So there I explored all these different type of blockchains, consensus protocols, security mechanism, and then now I am working at Algorand Foundation. It's been 1.5 years. So yeah, this is how I started. I first started learning about blockchain and then build and then research and whatever you likes. If you want to be a developer, if you want to be a researcher, or if you want something else, so it's basically depends on you. And but initially you will not find what exactly you want to do. So you have to go to these events, these hackathons. You have to explore things. You have to do a lot of different type of things. Then you will at some point you will understand, okay, I want to do this, this is my thing, I like it, I love it. So this is how you get a lot of things about yourself. Okay, we are on time. If you have anything again to ask, you can feel free to ask. And this is my LinkedIn, I think. I hope this is my LinkedIn. You can reach out to me. We are also hiring for interns, and we are doing a lot of hackathons, CTF, capture the flag. Also, I'm planning to do a offline event. I'll share with Manik. If you guys are available, feel free to join me. It's basically on developer centric. We'll talk about Ethereum, Solana, Aptos, Algorand, and we will explore what can be built on blockchain, what are the possibilities, what's the future, and simple meetup 2 3 hours. Huh.
Amazing. That's it. I have a question. Like I've heard, or many people have said that this Web3 and blockchain market is very volatile, as it's currently bullish. We can't predict that what its future. So, what's your views and opinion as it will remain bullish for everyone? Bullish means like high, like the demand is really high. The demand and supply is high. So, what are your views, Mudassir, about this thing?
So, blockchain and cryptocurrency both are two different things. Blockchain is a technology. Cryptocurrency is just your tokens or meme coins or all these things. So, I don't talk about cryptocurrency because these are tokens. There are whales, there are VCs. They sometimes pump a coin. They buy a lot of, lot of coins so that the price goes up. Sometimes they dump it. So we don't generally talk. We don't talk about coins. We talk about tech. So blockchain is tech. So you learn tech. If you learn tech, it will be there forever. I mean, tech is not something like you चला जाएगा अगले 2 साल में 3 साल में, right? जैसे let's say cyber security, AI. This is a technology. So if you learn this technology, you can implement it. you can make it your career, right? You can build on it. Cryptocurrency is different thing. It's just sometime it get bearish, sometime it bullish. So now since Trump is he is president now and he is supportive of cryptocurrency, that's why market is going up. But it could be happen that the market goes down, but it's not like कि blockchain ही down जा रहा है, right? I hope you get it. So these
Yeah,
two different
get
things.
it.
So focus on the tech. क्रिप्टो करेंसी तो इन्वेस्टमेंट है, तुमने पैसे लगा दिए थोड़ा तो उसको देके भूल जाओ ऐसा.
For sure. Thank you so much, Mudassir. Anyone, if you have any kind of questions, you can ask or feel free to. Otherwise, we shall wrap up the session.
And one last thing, we are also focusing on open source क्योंकि open source का culture in India is very low. So one suggestion I would give, or it's basically what I followed is when I was building thing, when I was writing article and doing anything, I was posting on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and making it open source project on GitHub, make it public project and share it with your, let's say, teachers or anyone, right? Post on LinkedIn. So when you build something, showcase it. Well, this is what I did during my development journey when I started. So this gets a visibility. So let's say you have posted on LinkedIn, a lot of people will see. If they are hiring, if they want to connect, they want to collaborate, they can directly reach out to you. So we are also focusing on open source. You can build open source project. You have any idea, come to us, share with me, we'll talk about it.
Amazing, Mudassir. And we have some few questions. We have a question from Ananya Agarwal, and she's asking why is blockchain dominant in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market and not in any other tech stack like Web2, or is it just the hype of Bitcoin?
Actually, it's not hype, it's the technology. Bitcoin, if you read the book I shared, Bitcoin is limited to 21 million. The supply is restricted to 21 million. You cannot create more Bitcoin. So what currently is happening is a lot of different countries, let's say El Salvador, they have stock of Bitcoin. There's few thousand, 100K or some Bitcoins. So they are storing it so that the future of Bitcoin, the money will increase since it's a limited. I mean, gold has unlimited supply, right? अगर कहीं पे खोदो वहाँ पे gold मिल गया तो there is, you can get a gold, right? So Bitcoin is limited to 21 million. So if I have one Bitcoin, the supply is cut it to 20 million, right? So that's how the Bitcoin price increased, because a lot of countries, they are buying the Bitcoin, they are holding it, so the supplies goes down. So the supplies goes down, the demand increases, the price increases. So you can say it's because of its tech, its nature, how it's created. And yeah, it's of course not sure कि वो price बढ़ेगा. It can happen कि it goes down. I mean 2023 it was, 2022 around it was 20K, now it's 100K. So it's very volatile. So Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. That's what I just said, right? It's a cryptocurrency, but focus on its tech, how it's built, what is consensus, what exactly it gives, how does it works, all these different type of things.
Amazing.
Another roadmap is, can you tell us roadmap to get started with blockchain? The best roadmap is Code Eater. Go to YouTube channel Code Eater and you will find a whole playlist. Start watching one video per day and you will be a blockchain OG in few months. Is blockchain evolving with the rise of technologies like AI and IoT? Yeah, of course. As I said, blockchain, AI, IoT, cybersecurity, these are technologies we need at some place. It's not like AI will capture everything, blockchain will capture everything, IoT will capture everything. It's not like that. It's like at some part we need blockchain, at some part we need AI. So it's just a tech. You have to you have to analyze, you have to find a way where we should use what, where we should use AI, where you should, and is it all, I mean, is it required or we are just doing over engineering. So you have to make sure this is just tech. I mean, learn every tech. I'm also now started working and reading AI since I'm working as a blockchain developer, but I'm reading AI because you should read, you should learn all the tech because it's a tech. So it can happen that sometimes you use AI on your project, sometimes blockchain, or sometimes both. So it's like tech. You are a student, you are engineer, you have to know everything. you should know all these different type of tech.
Amazing. The same thing my professors say. You are an engineer, you should know everything, and you should be asking why,
Exactly.
why, why. And yes, with this, everyone, I request you all who can switch on your camera so that we can click a group picture and post on LinkedIn. We would love
I'll
to
stop
have you.
sharing my. Sorry, I should stop
We
it.
have Meshwa and we have Shreya and waiting
You
for
guys
some
are
more.
very shy.
Then
Don't
we
be
can
shy.
take it.
One more thing is don't be shy. Just
Yes.
ask questions. Post on LinkedIn. It's maybe it's not a good project. It's I posted, like, if you go to my LinkedIn, 2 years back, I posted everything. I mean, whatever I did, just a single line of code. Just post. Just put it.
And yes, in future, in corporate world, you would be having online meetings, so you should be opening your camera, whole camera while during the whole meeting. So that's compulsory. So you can just start practicing that thing from this session. Okay. And cheers! Why those glumsy faces? Be happy. It's 2020 year. It's January month, so your energy should be high. Okay. So yes, thank you so much, everyone, for coming and joining us for this amazing session. We would be seeing you again in our upcoming session. And thank you so much, Mohammad Mudassir, for coming and sharing all the knowledge that you have accumulated over the years of experience that you have in different aspects of life and industry. Thank you so much. And I hope all the attendees got to learn something from you. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. See
Thank you
you.
so much for inviting, and thank you so much, guys, for joining. See you very soon next time. Bye bye.
Bye.